Blog Talk Radio.
You're listening to RVD Radio.
Drop that down! The whole fucking show! Drop that down! The whole fucking show! Man assassinator! Drop that down! The whole fucking show! Drop that down! The whole fucking show! A damn shot straight to your brain! Straight to your skull crack! You get down to straight to your brain! Straight to your skull crack! Drop that down! The whole fucking show! Drop that down! The whole fucking show! I will fly high! 5-star broad blast! You can't stop me! 5-star broad blast! Drop that down! The whole fucking show! Drop that down! The whole fucking show! It's all about the yin and the yang! The balance of power that's in! You can't stop the yin and the yang! The balance of power that's in! Drop it down! The whole fucking show! Drop it down! The whole fucking show! I will levitate! Flip kick you in the yam! I will decimate! You can prepare for! Drop it down! The whole fucking show! 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 Drop it down! The whole fucking show!
Yo, that's my song. Rob Van Dam, the whole effing show, yo. I bet you everybody just waits to hear my voice after that. Like, is it really going to be him? Oh, it's RVD. We know his voice. He's on. Have you ever heard of a show when RVD's not on? I have. They did a tribute show one time. Matt Denton hosted it. For some reason, I couldn't do it, and they wanted to keep it going because we were doing them regular, and then we weren't doing them regular. But now, this is like the third show in a row we've done with a 2-week in-between time span, and it's awesome. And the reason that I get so much energy from it, besides the outlet that I have to express myself and all that, I also love the fans that come up to me all the time and say, dude, I'm so glad RVD Radio's back. That motivates the hell out of me. So I appreciate that. People tell me that I work with or people on the streets or whatever, like, dude, I'm glad RVD Radio's back. And Blog Talk Radio sends me the reports, and we have thousands and thousands of people listening to these archives. So I'm glad we found a way to get back to it, you know, like this. Not so much depending on the callers, although we do have a lot of callers, but it's more about the conversation, which we're going to do, and you can listen to it later. And today we got, even on hold right now as we speak, I see Sabu. Haven't heard him on RVD Radio in a long time. And Justin McCully. David Defalco is going to be calling in, the movie director. And Bruce Jingles was a regular. All these people. Dude. And oh, that's so weird. I heard it in the other room. So anyway, dude, I hope you are too. I got a monologue for a minute because that's what I do before I get to the topic today is, as you know, 2012. If you don't know it, dude, it's 2012. Ask somebody. Duh. What are we looking at, like the 4th? Holy shit. You guys do realize that we have never, ever made it to January 4th, 2012 before. It hasn't happened ever. This is the first.
The bigger question is, are we going to make it to January 4th, 2013?
That is the question. It's definitely worth talking about on the radio as a topic, the big 2012 end of the world scare. And we probably will. I'm thinking of having the right guests, so it's not just a bunch of stoners going, dude, here's what I think will happen.
It's Y2K all over again, man.
Well, it kind of is, but I think. But Justin was saying, how do you get an expert on the end of the world anyway? But, you know, you got people that study it, and they can tell you at least their theories and break it down. And we've had some good
Who's that guy from Ancient Aliens with the crazy hair?
I don't know him, or I would. He looks like he's in London or some shit. So, yeah. His hair is out of control. We watch those shows. We love them. It's like history now. They're teaching us how we came from aliens and how the pyramids and all that shit was built with aliens. And it's crazy. They're teaching it like it's history, and it's like it's there if you want it or not. But it's still hypothetical from perspective. But when it comes to the end of the world, we will talk about that soon. Because the last couple of shows, we had some great experts on. We talked about the marijuana political situation, all the crackdowns on the dispensaries, and we had Paul Armentano, perfect guest. And the week before, we had the show before, we had Mr. Reed Lucas to tell us about the Occupy movement. So I'm moving right on today's subject is that fear of failure. Now, how do you get an expert on that? You don't. But you got some people with some pretty strong opinions. I've been having, as often, these and my blogs and Friends in High Places on RVD TV, they're often motivated by conversations I have in real life. I have these incredibly long conversations with David Defalco, debates, if you will, and I said, dude, we got to bring it onto the air. So we will. And he's going to call in. Oh, he is. He's online already. All right. So we're going to talk about that. But let me tell you real quick, because I told you, people are listening to RVD Radio. It motivates me. Guess what? RVD TV is coming back. If you go to robvandam.com, if you haven't, there's actually episodes back up for like the first time in forever. I think they're like sample episodes that my web guy grabbed from wherever. Like some of them aren't even RVD TV episodes. They seem to be, I don't know, there's an RVD tribute someone did. It's a YouTube video or something. But anyway, you can actually go and watch it now there on my media page. So I'm stoked. That means we're gonna stock it back up, and that means it's time for me to do a new episode. So I'm gonna do that this week or next. I'm gonna put together the first brand new RVD TV episode since I believe September of 2010. Holy, is that right? No, maybe. It was a long time. No, I guess we're doing it in 2011. But anyway, it's been a long time. I know since October we've seen, bang, DDP Yoga as the episode frozen in time on the website. So, boom, doing that. Photo albums, too. We're going to start loading the photo albums up. So I'm pretty excited about all that crap. While you're there, look at the eBay store at robvandam.com. I just auctioned off an actual RVD outfit. And I forgot to mention that on the radio last time. And it was for a charitable cause. A good friend of mine, Hurricane Helms, needs to learn how to drive. Got himself in a really bad wreck, so I'm going to try and send him to a driving school or something.
That can be said about a lot of wrestlers.
Well, that's true, and I will get to some...
included.
Hey! All right, question goes out, and here's a debate for RVD Radio. Is a better driver someone that can handle the car better or someone that follows the rules of conformity better? Is a race car driver better or the old lady that sits at the stop sign for 5 minutes before she moves?
That's not even, no, you
can't
argue that.
That's perspective.
No. Ask anyone that's been in the car with you.
Yeah, but I don't get in any, I'm an aggressive driver, and I guess, and it scares people, but I mean, I'm an excellent driver. That doesn't make me a bad driver. It might make me scary to ride with.
No argument there. You're very scared
to ride
with.
I'm not scared to ride with me. Kush sure was a couple weeks ago. Big pay-per-view this Sunday. By the way, I am gonna get to the other wrestlers that need to learn how to drive. No, I am gonna auction off some more shares. So keep checking up with eBay. I'm gonna put another outfit up That one sold last week, and then I'm going to put another one up this week or next week. So check with that. And I got boots and shin pads. I'm not going to do a whole lot of the auctioning, but I am going to be stocking the store a lot. Got tons of shit to get rid of. Check it out if you haven't. Big pay-per-view this Sunday that RVD will be on. That's my next big TNA thing. I don't even know, what is it, Genesis or some shit? I don't know. Next Sunday the 8th, live. And then tapings. Then we go to Europe, all over the place. But let me go to my guests because they've been waiting. It's 10 minutes after, and I usually keep talking for about 15 minutes. But now that we're doing these hour-long shows instead of 2-hour shows, I got to readjust. And I want to get to them that are waiting because I told them, if you call in early, you got to wait while I monologue, otherwise wait. But then I feel bad because they're calling in and they're waiting. But one thing I do want to talk about, but I could bring my guests on it too. Hey, Nikki Starr, let me bring you on. She likes it when I take her out full of myself, so I'll do that. Bam! Hi, Nikki Starr.
She loves it.
Nikki, sorry I waited so long to confirm we were doing a show. I thought you got my email or whatever and stuff. But you're good like that. You're on the fly. That's why you're with the Fly Lady.
It's true. And we got the show, and yes, I'm here. Hey,
awesome.
Just so you know,
just
like
to
comment really quick about the driving, it should be a combination of both. You should follow the rules, but you should also know how to handle your vehicle in case other people don't follow the rules.
Okay, but I personally, and the whole non-conforming subject is something in the future for when I kick off my non-conformity gear, which is way behind. But whatever, rules that were made before me weren't made for me.
This is an example of how he doesn't conform while driving. He knows he's going to make a left. There's a left turn lane. When does he wait to get into the left turn lane? At the last possible second.
Why? Why do you do that?
In the left turn lane. Now, why do you do that?
I do everything at the last second, not just when I'm driving, but as you know, everything throughout my life. I can't do it until I absolutely have to do it. I need that pressure, and that's how I roll, Quite the opposite from, like, little Guido back in the day. I remember riding with him back in the old ECW days, and if there's a sign that says his exit is coming up in 2 miles, he puts his brake on. He taps his brake, puts his turn signal on, gets over into the far right lane, and turns the radio down and tells me to quit talking so he can do it.
That's good.
It's not good. That's a horrible driver. It's people like that that hold us back, Nikki Starr, keep us from being a productive society.
That's not true. And I bet you if you're going to turn right, you stay in the left lane till the very last minute.
No, it's whatever lane is the best lane, and that's what you can't see from your perspective. Certain lanes are going to be better because there's more room, because there's space between the cars, and I have that all calculated in my subconscious way ahead of everyone because I'm on a whole different level. Actually, today on The View, we watched The View, and somebody in the audience was saying, why is it that the really slowest motherfuckers on the road have to get in the far left lane and stay there? And Whoopi Goldberg was like, well, that's me. She says, I'm so nervous when I'm out there, and I don't want to move, so I'm stuck. And I'm like, okay, I'm here, and I'm safe. And then when I do change, it's a big deal. I got to make sure the lanes are really clear. And I pull it, and boom, and then I go for it, and I stay in that lane. And I'm like, fuck, I hate that there's people out on the road like that because I'm so comfortable. I don't get in an accident. I can cruise around and I go 80 through the fucking downtown L.A. and probably not get in an accident. That makes me a better driver. Not that I do that.
I don't think so. Not that you do that, right?
That's what this is all about, is opinions. I'm going to ask your opinion on the fear of failure and how you can relate to it, because we can all relate to it. But let me kick this one last thing out real quick. There's an asshole here in L.A. that they just busted, an arson. He started over 50 fires over New Year's Eve. Weekend, over 50, and I mean, we're talking burning down apartments and cars, and amazingly, nobody got killed, which is fucking amazing, but they got this guy, he's an asshole from Germany, and what do you do with someone like this? They said he could face 100 years. Shouldn't we burn him so the rest of his life, he's like one of those people with the burn-up skin, and he's like, well, yeah, I was an asshole.
No, we shouldn't burn him. Sorry. We shouldn't burn him. But he should go to jail forever.
Maybe we don't do that shit in today's society. Well, let me get on to our subject, Nikki Starr. It's the fear of failing that keeps us from going for it, from doing things a lot of times when there's things that we really want to do and go for. And sometimes it's just the fear, and we just got to suck it up, have some balls and go for it. And other times it's a calculated risk where the odds are telling you, no, I shouldn't go for it because I have too much to lose. There's too much on the table, And, I mean, we all can relate to that. I know we can. I went skydiving before, and that's one of those things that's like, okay, if you want to do it, you just got to have the balls to say, fuck it, I'm jumping, and boom, destiny is in the hands of God, or however you want to look at it, in your hands or whatever. Boom, you jump. That's the kind of thing where you could say, you know what? It's not worth it because what do I have to gain from that? Unless you love that rush or you want to say you've done it or whatever, why the fuck would you do that? You wouldn't, and you're risking possibly dying. So that one's like easy to understand. Right, Nikki Star?
Yeah, except that I'm kind of the opposite of that. Like, I don't really care if I fail. I don't because, I laugh at myself. However, I have never skydived, even though I would like to. And most of it's because of, like, timing and stuff like that. I would really like to, but I've failed at a lot of things, a lot. And it doesn't really matter. I mean, you fail it, you learn something, and you go on. Now, I wouldn't, invest $5 million in something that I thought would fail. That's where I would hold back.
Wait a second. Are you telling me that you don't fantasize about ever, doing something you admire that someone else does that you don't have the balls to do, whether it's like entering American Idol and getting up and singing in front of a bunch of people, or whether it's fucking, I want to dance, but I'll look like an asshole, so I don't want to dance. Is there nothing like that you think about? You'd be like, of course there is.
Nope. If I want to do it, I dance. I don't sing, though, so I never had that dream. But
yeah, me
I
either.
dance if I want to dance. I really don't care about looking dumb. I guess that's the problem.
No, it's not a problem. I think that's fucking a great strength. But I think throughout this episode, we're going to find some flaws in your strength there. Because I find that hard to believe.
I just said one of the big flaws is, I don't do that with my money. I'm
right, but that's not okay. I mean, sometimes you can regret it, like, oh, I should have invested in Starbucks. I should have invested in Apple. Fuck everyone. Okay, but isn't there something like if you had a bucket list, like if you were going to die in a year, and you say, you know what, I've always wanted to go zip line, or you know what, I've always wanted to swim with alligators, or whatever. I wanted to have a lesbian experience or something.
No.
You want to talk about that?
No, I would do everything that I would want. I mean,
dude, you're awesome. You're a fucking role model for everybody.
No, it's not true because I think that you can be. I've been very careless in making those choices and have gotten hurt. I was in a really bad motorcycle accident because I chose to drive really fast on the freeway. Do you know what I mean? Because I wanted to.
Right.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I think that's really good. I'm going to start taking some of these calls, starting with Mr. Producer-directed David Defalco.
Yes.
Disclaimer, he's crazy.
Hello.
Sorry to put a disclaimer in.
Crazy. Yeah. Right,
hey,
I am
how do you
crazy.
Feel about that? Nikki Starr doesn't let fear of failure stop her from doing anything. She just goes for it. And,
well, let me interject here a second, because didn't this whole topic of debate come from an argument that me and you, or a discussion that me and you recently had regarding it, which stemmed from the recent, MMA match, UFC match with, Brock Lesnar fighting Alistair Overeem, in which, Brock pretty much, got destroyed and of course retired. But what we were discussing was the fact that certain, career moves are really ego-driven as opposed to, making sense. And that's really what we were arguing about. In other words, somebody, especially someone with a bigger career, maybe, wants to make a move really driven from ego that absolutely makes no sense at all and subsequently can hurt them, because of that. So therefore...
it makes absolutely no sense to you or to everybody, because I think, that there's always something to gain from winning, and if you look at the risk, and if someone was to win, that's up to them to weigh it out, isn't it? To put the value on that?
but the thing is, like, you can easily weigh it out, and it's just their ego that wants it so badly that they lose sight of all, the real, sense of it all. They're just driven so badly by the ego. For example, without naming names, let's just say you're a WWE wrestler, right? Now, a lot of these WWE wrestlers, one of the things I think that they struggle with is the fact that, they portray these really tough guys in wrestling, but in reality, we all know that, they may not necessarily be as tough as the guys they're portraying on TV, because wrestling isn't like the UFC where, you're really fighting and, you can really prove just how tough you are. So henceforth, some of them at some point in time may want to make the decision to try to prove, hey, I really am a tough guy. But depending on, certain factors, because, again, we're talking about ego here, because a lot of these wrestlers make a lot of money. A lot of them make a lot more money than UFC guys. And to actually make a move like that, would very clearly make sense or not make sense depending on certain factors. But yet, I know a couple in particular that would do it, just basically for their ego, which I think would be a big mistake.
Okay, well, I got, also on the line, and thanks for holding, guys. I got Bruce Jingles, Sabu, and Justin. I want to let Justin on, and then I'll let the other guys on, because I want him to respond to that. Justin McCully, MMA fighter, still fights in the cage. He's used to fight for UFC, and also he's done some pro wrestling, so he can talk from both perspectives. What up, JMC?
What up, dudes? What's going down?
Dude, so listen, man, we're talking about the fear of failure, and right now we're relating it to our world. Why does somebody risk getting in the cage? Like, for me, my ego would tell me, like, right now at this stage of my life with my career and everything, my ego would tell me if I got into a fight in the cage, man, I better fucking win. You know what I mean? If I lost, it'd be really hard for me to handle, and it would hurt my reputation.
Right.
And in the inner society behind closed doors of wrestling, I would like to believe that I'm one of the tougher guys, so it would fuck with my ego bad. But in the martial arts world, in the fighting spirit, you put it all on the line, and you're disciplined enough to even though you won't accept losing going in, that is a possible outcome. Two guys fight, one's going to win, one's going to lose. How the fuck do you deal with that? And is Dave right that a lot of people are just doing it for their ego? Do people really in the sport do it just for their ego?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Justin.
Right. A lot of people do it just to wear the T-shirt, but it's not just pro wrestlers. Like everybody.
No, but what about MMA? With pro wrestling, there's certainly risks of getting hurt, and it's dangerous. And you've said yourself you think pro wrestlers are like the toughest guys on the planet. But with MMA, you got the guys that are legitimately claiming to be the toughest fighters, best fighters in the world, whether they're fucking ninjas or fucking former security Navy SEAL badasses or whatever, and you get in there and say, what you got? For that, is that what kind of reasons go into that, and how do you deal with the fear of failing?
Well, the fear of failing is probably the hardest thing to deal with. You got to rank that up there with the number one thing that's the deterrent for getting in there in the first place is just fear of getting your ass kicked in front of, millions of people or even just a couple hundred people, depending on how big you show it.
Yep.
And it's a very, very daunting task, Does the reward outweigh the risk? Are you getting paid enough money? And normally you're not. Normally it's just an ego thing. It's just one of those things where you're going, you know what? I think I'm really good at this. I want to go prove it. And a lot of people just think that, hey, I'm going to go out there and do it one time just to see if I can do it, just to see what I got. It's a proving ground for people. It's a proving ground for I think men and women just to get out there and see what they got. And so. It's all ego driven though. At the end of the day,
the only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Get that,
dude. I win. I like it. There's just there's a lot of people I think that are just doing it to wear the T-shirt, but then there's a lot of killers out there that probably haven't even been seen or jumped in the ring yet. So Who knows? Who knows, man? We'll see. But pro wrestling guys are tough as nails. It's just a different animal. These two sports are way different. When you're talking about professional wrestling, something that's done for a show, theatrics for the crowd to ooh and ah, and it's more of like a live stunt show, which is something I love. I love stunts. I've always been into stunts. It's really, really bitchin', really highly demanding as far as your athletic ability, because you have to be able to have the cardio to run, jump, flip, fly over shit, land on stuff, have the durability and the toughness to get hit with things and to go and carry on, a match. But
that doesn't make you a tough fighter, right?
No, it doesn't make you a tough fighter, but it makes you a tough person, and it makes you an awesome actor, and it makes you an awesome sports person, and an awesome stunt person, and somebody that can go out there and tell a story with their body and use their body in a way where they're taking damage to do that, and it's kind of a sacrificial lifestyle, and it's it's really bitching all in its own, but it's a different animal than MMA. MMA, you're an athlete, you know what I mean? Like, you got to train like a super athlete. You got to incorporate 5 different styles and 3 other sports to really be even close to championship level, and so it's a thing of a different beast, more of a.
But can I ask you a question, Justin?
100%.
Let's say Rob decides, okay, at this point in time, that because Rob supposedly is a tough guy. I mean, or a tough fighter, supposedly. But again, it depends who you're putting him up against. Because if you put him up against some Joe in the street, or maybe someone that's just an average fighter, he's going to kick his ass. But if you put him up against yourself or someone like Alistair Overeem, well, then how tough is he? But
what don't you fucking understand?
The question I have for you, Justin, is, hold on.
First off, I have a question first. Sabu, did you shit in Dave's sink?
Oh, by the way, you got Sabu on the line, because I've been looking for him all morning, but that's another topic we can get to. Now,
Sabu,
hold on.
You with us? Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there you are, Sabu.
I want to let
Funny, I couldn't get a hold of him all morning. I don't know how you got him.
You're on 2 jingles. Now we got the RVD radio. Yeah. What up, Bruce Jingles, motherfucker?
What up, motherfuckers?
All right, cool. Just so you know, you guys are all
I heard Bruce Jingles was pretty tough, too.
Well, all right.
With Sabu. But hold on. No, you didn't answer my question.
No, I know, Dave. Ask that question.
No, this is an important question.
What you're saying, Dave.
No.
Dave, what you're saying is that whether someone is a good fighter or not depends on who they're fighting.
Well,
I disagree with that. But go ahead.
Well, hold on. The question I have for Justin is, okay, so let's say Rob is a legitimate tough guy, and he wants to, at this point in time, he wants to have an MMA fight. Now, doesn't that, what really does that prove? Doesn't it depend on who he's fighting? Because if you set him up with some stiff that, just to let him win, doesn't he have to fight? If he fights a legitimate MMA fighter that, has a real record that people know of, and he beats him, well, then, I would say that definitely proves something. But isn't that important to the whole process as far as, if he was actually going to do it? It's got to be a real fight with a real fighter, correct?
Well, yeah, I mean, it would have to be, and you know what, I personally have helped train RVD a little bit. I've been in the ring with RVD. I've felt his strength and his abilities, and RVD's up there, man. He can definitely shoot it out with some guys, and that would be... It would be...
Would you say RVD is as tough as Brock Lesnar as a fighter, Mr. McCully?
Well, he doesn't have the wrestling background, but one thing he does have that many don't know is a tough man background. RVD was the Michigan State Tough Man champion, I think, a couple years running maybe, and so what you didn't know is before he even stepped into the squared circle, he was a Tough Man champion.
I mean, no disrespect to the Michigan Tough Man contest, but Brock was the actual UFC champion. My question is, do you think that RVD is as tough as a fighter as Brock Lesnar? Because in my, humble opinion, I would have to say absolutely, unequivocally.
Wait, all right, but let's stop right here. Let's just say, Dave's question, as far off topic as it is, the thing is if Rob isn't as good a fighter as Brock, would he still step into the cage if he was an MMA fighter? Yes. Dave could never get his head wrapped around that because he won't even fight Medium Rob, who just got out of fucking high school. And
please, give me a break.
He doesn't understand
you put up some money, I'll fight Medium Rob tomorrow.
Somebody would set their fear aside to really go for it in this case. When it comes to fighting.
Because an actual fight in front of the public, Rob, would make no sense whatsoever. Because and it doesn't prove anything, like Justin said, unless you fight a real fighter. So that's the first thing.
But wait, that's all in the promotion, and I'm not arguing that. But let's say Dave wants to be the first director to have an actual fight. Well, he could fight some scrub. And if he looks good, it could still do something for him. And people could say, I saw him, it was pretty good, he beat the shit out of that guy. Or it could be Dave against Brock. Gee, which one would help his reputation better? You got to be an idiot to not understand that. All that is the promotion. The fact is, if you were in the ring going for it, and you were with someone that we never heard of, like your brother that's supposed to be so tough that you always say they're going to send after me, then guess what? You could still show that you're a good fighter. You could still prove whatever you wanted to prove. But if you're fighting for your sport, your art, the dojo, whatever, then you're disciplined enough to set the fear of getting your ass kicked in the business of your reputation, falling. You set that aside. That's something that the fighters do. Let's take Batista, for instance, because we know that's really what's behind this. He's been saying for a long time that he's going to have an MMA fight. And then, of course, he's got to fight somebody that looks credible if he wants to do it with the right promotion. Now, if Batista decides that he's going to fight someone that doesn't have that good of a record, but it's an even fight because he doesn't have a record either and they're both starting out and he wins, well, guess what? He still has a win and he's legitimate in the MMA world.
Hold on. Legitimate? No. First of all,
if you get paid to write a story, you're a professional writer. If I got paid to have a fucking professional wrestling match, can I actually?
No, because Rob, hold on a second. The thing is this: like a guy like Batista, first of all, he's not 20 years old. Second of all, he had a huge wrestling career. He potentially has a pretty decent, acting career, thanks to me starting him off. And now, what would be the sense? It's only ego. There's no question it's only ego. That, why would he want to start fighting? It makes no sense at all because even his manager said, well, he couldn't make a career out of it. Of course not. You can't start that late and expect to make it. So the only thing is for his ego because he wants to. It doesn't prove anything.
It's all about
you don't know.
It's all about putting asses in the seats, right? It's all about drawing power. That's why Brock made it to the top in just a couple fights, and they gave him that.
But Brock, you
that
can't
position,
compare Dave to Brock, Justin. There's no way.
Well,
no, you can't.
Why can't you?
Why can't you? Because number one, there's a huge age difference. Number two, Dave has got a ton more injuries from the WWE. Number three, Dave doesn't have the formal training of any kind of fighting that Brock even had, okay? He hasn't been doing it for that long. There's no way you can start it that late and expect to then go in with these young trained, killers. And it's not. There's no way. You can't compare anyone. And look at how Brock's done. And Brock was like the cream of the creme out of these wrestlers. He was the baddest one of them all. Look what's happened to him. You actually think now Dave's going to get in, however many years older he is, and all of a sudden he's going to kick ass? First of all, he couldn't. See, there's no way he'd get into some little thing like Bellator. But what's the point? Why not?
All right. We haven't heard much from Sabu or Jingles yet, but Justin, just the fact that he says some little thing like Bellator, doesn't that prove how ignorant he is?
Yeah, very ignorant.
Yeah, kind of in a way, because it's different. There's different levels to the game. You know, you got your ballroom level, you got your lower level next, you got your club level, smoker level, and then you got your ballroom, clubroom level, and then you got your stadium good venue level, and there's just different levels all the way throughout the fighting game, and you got TV and you got dark. And so if you're lucky enough to get a TV match on a Bellator, I mean, it's pretty much like pro wrestling, you know what I mean? Like, if you get to a TV match, you're making it. No, it's
Bellator, by the way, they like TNA, and they're doing some co-promotions with us, and they're moving to Spike when UFC moves off of Spike, in case people don't know that. Kid Cash is looking like the first guy that's going to have a double contract and be an MMA fighter and a pro wrestler. And I guess why Dave is watching, Defalco is watching Kid Cash fight in the ring. Are you going to say that he shouldn't be doing that?
Well, no, he perhaps is, obviously trying to pursue a career in it, I believe, right? From what you told me. I don't think he's doing it just because he wants to do one match and prove something to himself.
He's actually just a hard-working man, and he would probably just as soon make cabinets for you if he can make more money doing that than he could wrestling or fighting. He's kind of, he kind of goes like where the money is and shit.
Right, he's going for but you can't really. I mean, he's not a huge star like a Dave Bautista.
Here's the thing with that. Like you're saying, it's an ego thing, and you're only doing it for your ego, but you're saying keep your name for movies and shit. Why? Most wrestlers, if they do a movie, that's for their ego thing. They just want to say they did it, unless they're really trying to have a serious long-term career as an actor.
Sure. You think if a wrestler really gets a movie opportunity, they're just going to think, oh, this is good, I'll just do it once and that's it? Yeah. You really think that's what's in it? Really?
Sabu, what do you think? Like, if someone wants to make a movie, look at the wrestlers that have done movies. Like, I guess Ken Anderson did a movie for WWE.
And you don't think he'd want to do another one if he had the opportunity?
Yeah, if they had an opportunity to do anything, I think they would do it, yeah. But I don't think they go into it like that. They go into it like they won the lottery, like, sweet. I mean, I remember the guy that trained me, Tom Bennett, who Sabu trained me, and he trained Samson, this wrestler that's older, that taught me how to lift and everything. And I remember him, he's got a really high opinion of himself. And I remember him saying, oh, yeah, I've done this, I've done that, I've been a pro wrestler, I've won strongman weightlifting competitions. He goes, only thing left I want to do to get my belt is I want to be in a movie. And I remember that, like, when I was first breaking in, and that stuck out in my mind, too. Like, yeah, that'd be cool to say, fuck yeah, I've been in a movie. And then when I was in ECW, I did a few fight scenes, in Blood Moon and Super Fights, my first couple of movies. I wasn't like a movie star, but it made me feel like a much bigger fish in the ECW dressing room. They're like, yeah, fuck yeah, RVD's been in movies.
Yeah, now you could potentially be a huge fish with, coming up on what could be the second and biggest, starring action role of your career. So yeah, again, we're talking about it's not really the same. Like, in other words, doing movies and pursuing like fight career, the movie thing can make total sense, even if you do it just once, if you get lucky enough to do it once. But a fight thing is a whole different ball game, because it could be extremely detrimental to someone, especially to a guy like Dave or even you, if, like you said, if you were to do something like that and really get your ass kicked, you know how bad that would be? I mean, it may not be the end of your career, but it certainly wouldn't be a good thing.
My ruling on this is My ruling on this is that the value is determined on the man that's doing the action. Like Bruce Jingles, if I go up like last night, we went up on stage and did comedy, right? A lot of the wrestlers think I'm crazy. They think, oh man, I could never do that. Booker T said that the first time he saw me do that. You remember?
Yeah.
It was, you can wrestle in front of 70,000 people, but you wouldn't stand up on a stage in front of 100 people and tell jokes and try and make them laugh. Why? What's the worst that could happen? I mean, are you going to die? Are you going to get hurt? Are you going to be embarrassed? Is that going to ruin your career? Are those people going to think you're an asshole? Really, the worst case scenario is not that bad, yet the fear of failure will prevent people from doing it, even if it's something that they kind of would like to do. You had to deal with that at first, probably, right, Bruce?
Yeah, I had to deal with that. I started kind of late because of fear of failure. I started at 30. I'm 41 now.
Well, yeah, because you didn't graduate high school until you were 32.
Yeah, yes, I had to get permission. And
that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, it just what held me back, because I think now, what if I would have started at 25 or 20? Where would I be at? Where would I be at in my career? So fear of failure held me back. But I have a question. Are you talking about all the wrestlers that are looking at you weird when you do stand-up? Or now, are the majority of them?
I think they admire the balls that it takes to get up there because they think it's something they could never do.
Oh, okay. I was wondering.
Sabu.
I was just wondering.
I think Sabu's at the post office, hopefully.
I'm right here. Hello.
Oh, there he is. Can you think of times that fear of failure has held you back?
You talking to me?
Yeah, brother.
I don't think he fears anything.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm afraid of a lot of shit. That's all I like talking about it.
Okay. Well, but you know what I'm talking about, though, where there's some shit, and you just the thought of I might not be able to do it, I might fail. That keeps a lot of people from doing shit where if they weren't afraid of doing it, it might be rewarding, right?
Yeah, well, I talk myself out of it before I get started if I don't think I'm up to it.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing to actually weigh out the risks and actually make a calculated decision no, fuck, it ain't worth it. I'm not going to go bungee jumping. If the cord breaks, I'll break my neck. It's not worth it for the 2-second thrill ride. But yeah, it's something else if it's if you regret it afterwards. I regret shit afterwards. Oh, damn, I should have done that. I should have went up and said hi to that person. And it wasn't so much that I was afraid, but it was just easier to not do it.
But also, Rob, depending on what it is you're attempting to do, there are different stakes. For example, getting up in front of 100 people and just, failing at maybe doing a comedy act is not as big a stake as, say, doing a live pay-per-view, MMA fight and getting your ass kicked in front of potentially hundreds of thousands or even millions of people. So depending, what it is you're attempting, and that obviously has a big factor. I mean, I'm not saying, people shouldn't, if they have the desire to do something that could potentially be risky, I'm not saying not to go for it if they have such a desire, but in certain cases when you make, moves based on ego, it can be a blinding move, and sometimes I think that's not necessarily the right decision when your ego's really driving you to do it, but it doesn't make sense otherwise.
Well, you gotta feel the essence of the warrior too. I mean, warriors have to have a way to express themselves and go out there, and some guys were just meant to die on the battlefield. They're just meant to get out there and not do very well, and some guys are meant to get out there and be superstars, and either way, it's their path, and they got to learn their truth and their destiny. So for whatever reason pulls them there, they got to go there and they got to fulfill it and experience it and do what they got to do. So, you talk about it lightly, they're going to go in there and they're going to get destroyed. Why go in there? Sometimes going in there and getting your ass kicked is the best thing that'll ever happen to you. You'll have an epiphany, a life lesson, and you'll come out of there a better, stronger person. It doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger, and maybe you'll come back a different person, and maybe you needed that ass kicking, And so,
well, yeah, for the average person, but a big superstar wrestler with a huge career in wrestling and potentially acting, want to get into the fighting game late in the game, to me, it just doesn't make any sense at all, because A, it's never going to be a career, and B, it doesn't prove, it doesn't even satisfy their ego unless they can defeat somebody, of real stature. It's not, so it doesn't even serve the purpose of,
Yeah. I got a question.
Go ahead. Okay. Go ahead, Sabu.
Who claims it?
Who claims what?
If somebody shits in your sink, who cleans it?
Let me ask you a question.
No, the question is who shits in the sink?
Sabu, do you think you can handle being on the big screen, like in a big action movie with a really cool role and all that pressure, and you got to perform? Do you think you can handle it? Would you be afraid to do that?
I wouldn't be afraid not to do it, but I'd be afraid to do it. Yeah.
But you can overcome that fear, right?
I'd be nervous about it, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Pussy, vagina.
Oh, God. Do we have to have those annoying little,
No, but you were saying, well, why would somebody do this for one shot? Why would somebody do this for a career or whatever? You do it because you love to do it or you want to do it. You don't do it because there's a gold pot at the end of the tunnel. You do it.
Or you don't do it because you have
to. But Sabu, if you have a big career, don't you think? I mean, that's why these people have managers.
I could have the biggest movie career in the world, but I'd still want to be a wrestler. Until I was the top wrestler, I would not have been successful in my eyes.
All of us think
that's why that's why you became a top wrestler, Sabu, and not a movie star, because that was your passion, and you started young and you achieved your goal. You know what I mean? It's not like all of a sudden that was your main passion. You decided to become an actor your whole life, and then all of a sudden you woke up later in the game and said, well, now I want to be a wrestler. Well, people would say to you, why didn't you think of that back when you were 18, like you did?
Because check it out. When you sit there and you watch UFC or you watch cage fighting or whatever, and you're watching the guy get his ass kicked, you're like, dude, I could even kick that guy's ass. He doesn't say it. Not one of us in the room hasn't said it. Not one of us listening.
Yeah, that's the mentality of a teenager. Oh, I'm going to kick his ass. Yeah, sure you are.
It's the mentality of a man. As long as he lives, he thinks he's worth his salt. His balls are bigger than anyone's, and he can kick anybody's ass, or he's not a fucking man. Dude, that's just the way it is. And so when you're looking at it, it seems like a good idea. You're like, wow, could I do a cross promotion? A big name like Batista, I could do a cross promotion, use my name, get a guy in there, and maybe beat one of these guys up, do maybe a 1 or 2 shot deal. Maybe catch a strap, get a bigger name, do a cross. But you know what? It becomes real about 3 weeks into training camp when you have to fight twice a day in, day out. You got to put your mouthpiece in, look at the blood in it from the fucking practice before, put your sweaty shin guards on and your sweaty fucking gloves on, tie your cuff in, and you got to go out there and bang again, even though you're sore as fuck. Your hands hurt, your knees, legs, shins, everything hurts, your back hurts, but you got to do it, because if you don't, that other man's doing it, and he's going to kick your ass. So that's when it becomes real, and that's when age becomes a factor and all those things. So if you can make it through what you got to make it through and get in there, my hat's off to anybody, win or lose. That's the
I get soccer blood,
celebration. Man. The fight's a celebration. We do our work in the gym, we do our work with our training partners, and then we get out there and celebrate by getting to do the big dance and fight each other and show our skills. And after that, we get to celebrate. And so.
Same thing with comedy, man.
Yeah. Plus, people's goals change. I mean, as far as like saying, well, you decide you want to be a pro wrestler, you should have decided before. I mean, I always say, I was a kickboxer when I met Sabu and the Sheik and started wrestling, and I thought maybe I'd go pro with that if wrestling didn't take off. I enjoyed both of them, but nobody knew what the fuck kickboxing was back then. I had to tell people. No one knew. MMA certainly was nowhere even near being around yet. If it was, I would have done it, but as life goes on, you change and you want different shit. I get that where people, like I compared it to a bucket list earlier, but there's shit that I want to do. There's books that I want to write. Should I have thought about that before I was a wrestler? No, the things that you want to acquire in life change as you mature sometimes, or you've always had these desires. Either way, it's not about having one goal and accomplishing it. I have a question I'd like to throw it on the table about my good friend Chuck Zito. First off, he was the president of the Hells Angels in New York for, 20 years or something. He wrote a book called Street Justice, where he talks about all these fights he's had in prison and biker gang fights and all that. Dave Defalco, you know him because you've eaten dinner at the table with us. You've been there with me and Chuck and all that shit. And so here's my thing. Chuck said a couple of years ago, when he was 50 years old, he wanted to have an MMA fight. First off, are you going to say he shouldn't do that? And second off, are you going to question whether Chuck Zito is a tough guy or not, David Defalco, homo?
I think for him in that case, it would be, it would actually be cool, because I think that's like a huge, great hook, like a Hell's Angel, a real tough guy his whole life, You know,
what if he loses? Wait, what if he loses? Or what if he doesn't fight, someone that you know, like Alistair Overeem? And what if he fights some guy that you don't know? It's not going to do nothing for him, right?
Yeah, I mean, the bum and gets knocked out in 10 seconds.
Well, I don't know, Rob. You tell me. You telling me like if you put someone in with a stiff that nobody. I mean, you could put me in there and get some stiff that isn't a known fighter, and I can beat the crap out of him. Does that mean all of a sudden I'm a tough guy? You tell me.
Yes, in your world it certainly would, and you know that's true.
Rob, in my world, I am a tough guy. I can walk down the street and beat the fuck out of probably 90% of the people out there. Believe me, I can. I know you might say that.
You got Justin laughing, and I don't know that that's true
all right,
either.
You want me to prove it? Justin, come on down, put a few bucks in my pocket, we'll walk down the street, and I'll just start beating people.
No, you won't. Now, that's it. Now whose ego's out of control?
No, he's on that.
So you don't think I can beat up most of the people out there? Apparently you haven't looked, because you only think, because Rob, you know a lot of really tough guys. Most people can't fight their way out of a wet paper bag. Trust me. You saw the black guy.
I love it. Okay, and I agree. But
you saw my black eye the other day, Rob. That was from like this big black guy that took a swing at me. I kicked his ass. But he got a swing in
your car. I know that was a weird story, but I'm not here to tear you apart. I don't want to do that. I don't want to insult you. We've been down that road before.
I'm not saying I'm a tough guy. That's the thing.
Yes, you are. That's exactly what you said.
Well, no. I'm saying that that most of the average person out there, including the average young guy in the gym, cannot fight. So therefore, I could be considered tough to them, but next to obviously guys like you and Justin, of course I'm not tough.
So you're saying it's in the perspective, just like if someone says he's a good wrestler.
Rob, what I'm saying is that it does matter who you're fighting, because if you put me in with some slouch or some no-name or somebody that I'm set up to win, like you said, like that, what does that prove? Now, if you put me in with like Frank Mir or even Justin's a known fighter. Say you put me in with him and I beat him.
Even Justin. Love it when you do that.
It proves that you can get in there, you can go through the motions, you can get out there, you can train a full training camp, you can.
Well, why couldn't I? Well, yeah, I mean,
you can go out there and you can perform, but whether the opponent is the champion or he's
but Justin. Of course, I could go through the training camp, but I could get in the ring and get knocked out with one punch. I mean, anybody can, and it still means you went through it all and you're tough. But
remember the pro wrestling training camp you went through that one day, and I gave you one arm drag, and you had enough.
Yeah, but that was,
that's different than MMA. No.
Yeah, you're getting banged around on that fucking ring that I thought was a lot softer, and I just wasn't into it. It's like, why do I want to get like?
I know, but you would be into having Justin laying on your chest when you can't breathe, dude. When me and Justin wrestle, even the first time when he's starting out with me, I feel like I'm having a heart attack because I'm at the point where I'm winded from struggling, and he sits on my chest. I'm like, dude, I'm serious. Get off me. He's like, no, relax. You gotta get used to this. That's the worst feeling in the world.
Actually, I'd love to see that. Justin, you want a bigger role in the movie? Let's reenact that. I'd like to see that. But no, I mean, look, it's different though when you're fighting someone, and when I try to fight someone for real, I try to end it real quick. It's not me getting hurt; it's me hurting the other person. And if I get in the first punch, the chances are they're going to get hurt. Because it's not like I can hit hard. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a tough guy. I'm not saying I'm near as tough as you or Justin or any of those guys. But if I'm against some punk in the street and I get the first punch in, I guarantee you they're going down.
Whoever Dave, you are that punk on the street.
As long as you can guarantee it that they're going down. Not very many people can guarantee someone's going down with one punch. I certainly
fights are way different than MMA.
Didn't go down, but.
Well, right. Sabu, did you say that, or was that Justin?
That was Jingle.
I didn't say that. I wish I said that.
That was a good line. Well, no, so you said that punk on the street isn't an MMA fighter, right?
Yeah.
I totally agree.
You guys all know they're different rules.
Yeah, that and the fact that like if it was a real MMA fighter, I'd obviously get my ass kicked. So I mean, I'm not saying that, but most of the guys, even the street fighters in the street, they're not.
Just get along. So
they're not trained, MMA fighters. Thank God.
Just get along.
All right. Well, I knew that the conversation was going to go towards this because Dave and I have gone round and round on the phone like this. So I wanted to bring it to the radio, but everybody can relate to fear of failure for different things, and I'm not necessarily straying off of that. But I am going to the caller that's been on here forever and listen to all of us, even David Defalco. What's up, Jonathan? Thanks for calling RVD Radio.
Hey, Rob, I called in last week, but my Skype went funny.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for calling back, dude. You're on now. How goes it?
I'm actually calling you from the UK.
Right on, dude. That's okay. UK is okay with RVD.
Yeah. Sorry, man. I was really interested in the topic last week.
Oh, last week when we were talking about the crackdown on the marijuana dispensaries.
Yeah.
I won't hang up on you, but I'll give you about 45 seconds. You got a comment?
Well, I just think.
You want to smoke the marijuana?
Well, I would like. Well, maybe. Well, I don't know. I don't.
Who stole the fucking dope?
I don't really know a lot about.
You understand my English?
Because they're not really that forward over here on the medical marijuana thing.
Okay, thanks for calling in.
What?
Hey, Sabu, you handle Jonathan's question for us. I'm confused.
I don't know what you're saying next.
Sabu.
Jonathan, yeah, listen to the show. There was a lot of info on there. Was there something on there, not on there, that you needed?
No, I just need to listen to the show again.
Okay, yeah, please do, because there's a lot covered on there. By the way, we got 16 states here in the United States that have medical marijuana programs, plus Washington, D.C., so we're on the grow. And soon the federal government will have to make a change on its position of marijuana as a Schedule I controlled substance, along with heroin and acid, underneath the safer categorized drug of coke or meth. So that's what we need to change here. UK usually follows what we do here, so I suggest don't wait for us. Go ahead and legalize it there first. That's cool. Right, Sabu?
I don't know, man. I was banging 7-gram rocks and finishing them because that's how I roll. I have one speed. I have one gear. Go. I am on a drug. It's called Charlie Sheen.
Dude, I don't care what nobody says. That shit is still funny, and I want it. And Charlie Sheen needs to do stand-up. Seriously, he needs to do stand-up.
It's big in the UK because supposedly it is.
What's that, David?
Ask Jonathan if Wrong Side of Town is big in the UK because supposedly it was on that Sky TV and it was a pretty big deal over there from what I heard.
Jonathan, have you heard of Wrong Side of Town?
Vaguely, yeah.
Vaguely? All right, well, that wasn't...
Check it out, man. It's RVD's so far only starring action role. Batista was in it. Actually, he got the cover shot. As Justin said, RVD should change it to Wrong Side of the Cover.
That's pretty good, Justin.
Yeah, so this guy that's annoying everybody tonight, David Defalco, he or not.
I said he was crazy. I gave you the disclaimer.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was crazy. Getting involved with pro wrestlers and movies. You're right, Sonia. I should have my head examined. Yeah, I should have my head examined for that one.
What's your next movie? Hey, when's your next movie? I think you need a funny black dude.
Yeah,
funny some shit in my sink.
Yeah, Sabu's finally going to make his debut, the infamous sink scene. Yeah.
What else can we say at this point? I mean, you wrote and directed Wrong Side of Town. This one's going to be, it was my first. I'm going to be way better in this. The movie's going to be way better in every way. Yeah. The Equalizers. Soon we'll have news on production. It's still at the end of the developmental stage. What else can we say?
Well, it's very close to getting ready to go into production. It's going to be the biggest, the best cast, best story, best everything, and hopefully, yes, the best performance from RVD starring in an action movie. So,
and we're going to have a bunch of other wrestlers in it, including Sabu and some big names from TNA. We'll be talking about that real soon. Hopefully, we'll have a part for Bruce Jingles in it. And Justin, Justin McCully. So, all right, well, thanks for calling in, Dave. That's about our show. So
cool, my pleasure.
Sabu, all right, cool, man. David Defalco, everybody.
Yeah, I'll talk to you.
First Jingles, you got something to plug?
What up with the join up?
What up with the join up, Sabu says. Thanks for being back, Sabu. We haven't heard you on RVD Radio in a while, but we'll do it again next week or the week after, whatever. Bruce Jingles. Oh, why Bruce Jingles just... Oh, never mind. Boom.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here.
Bruce Jingles, BruceJingles.com or some shit.
Yeah, catch me on Facebook, BruceJingles.com. And if you're in the Inland Empire area tonight, I'm at the Laugh Factory at Sam Manuel Casino at 9:30.
Right on. Thanks, Justin McCully. Something to plug?
Hell yeah, dude. Right on. At Justin McCully is my Twitter. Hit me up. And, dude, super stoked. I think this is the best show ever, man. I'm glad you're back on the air, RVD. Right now. Baby.
All right, cool. Yeah. Me too, man. Good show. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Nicky Star. Say bye, baby.
Bye, baby.